Question 12. Solve the equation. So this here has an x on both sides of the equal sign. So we have an extra rule we need to remember here, and that is letters on the left, numbers on the right. So I've got 11x here on the left hand side of the equal sign, so that's perfectly fine where it is. So we'll keep that here. But I need to bring this 8x, because that's a letter and it's on the wrong side. All the letters need to come to the left hand side. So I'm bringing this 8x over here. Now if I bring that 8x to the other side of the equal sign, then I'm changing side, and I need to remember to change sign. So that's a positive 8x over here. We can see that because there's not a minus in front of it. So if there's no minus in front of it, then it's positive. So if it's a positive on this side, when I change side, I change sign to a takeaway. So that'll become minus 8x. So when it's at the opposite side, we do the opposite thing, and the opposite of adding is taking away. So now I've done that, I've got the letters on the left, now I need to get the numbers on the right. So this number is on the right hand side of the equal sign, so I can bring that down. Don't be rude and steal its 8. That number was there first. So the 37 has to come down, and now this plus 4 needs to move to the other side, because that's on the left hand side where the numbers should be on the right. So if I take this plus 4 to the other side of the equal sign, I need to change the sign. Change side, change sign. So it's a plus 4 over here, and when I change side, it's going to go to the opposite sign of a takeaway. So that'll be takeaway 4. Now at this point, it's a good idea to check whether you've changed your signs, because that's the bit that everybody usually forgets. So this 8 has gone from a positive to a negative, and this plus 4 has gone to a takeaway 4. So I have changed my signs. Now the examiner at this point will give you 1 mark because you've remembered the most difficult part about this equation. Letters on the left, numbers on the right, change side, change sign. Now it becomes a little bit easier. Well, this is saying 11x take away 8x. Well, I know that 11 take away 8 is 3x. And then it's a good idea to keep your equal sign in a straight line when you're doing equations. It makes it much easier to see what to do next. So 37 take away 4 is then 33. Now, to solve an equation, we know that we need to get the letter on its own. So to get this x on its own, that 3 is in the way. So I've got to take that 3 to the other side. Equal sign in a straight line. 33 was there first, don't be rude. So now the 3 comes to the other side, and that 3 is right next to the x. It's touching without a sign in between. So that means that it's multiplying. So that's is saying times by 3. So when I bring it to the other side, change sign, it'll become a divide by 3. So x equals 33 divided by 3. X would equal 11. So even if you made a little mistake at the end, the examiner will give you 1 mark for saying x equals 33 divided by 3, and then your final answer of 11. Part B. Write this in index form. So index is powers. Indices are powers. So as you can see, this y has been times by itself several times. So I've got y. How many times is y times by itself? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that there is saying y to the power of 5. Part C. Expand and simplify. I've got brackets here. I've got an expression with 2 sets of brackets in. So first of all, I need to know what the word expand means. If I'm expanding brackets, it means I've got to get rid of the brackets. My answer will be letters and numbers, but with no brackets. So to do that, I've got to times everything on the inside by what's on the outside. So I'm effectively going to be doing that twice, because on the outside of this bracket is the 4. So everything inside here is getting times by the 4. And everything in this bracket has the -2 outside. So everything in here is going to be times by -2. So we're going to start off on the dark blue. So I'm going to do 4 times 3x, 4 times 3x. Well, I know that 4 times 3 is 12, and I've got that x there that I can't forget. So now I've got to times it by the 5 as well. So the next one is saying 4 times 5, because everything on the inside must be times by what's on the outside. So 4 times 5 is 20, and that's a positive 20, so I need to write plus 20. The next one is the lighter blue. So here we've got to do everything on the inside times by what's on the outside, 2x first. So this is saying -2, because the -2 is on the outside, times 2x. So I need to know now -2 times 2. And if we look at our rules of negative numbers, if we times or divide negative numbers, then it works for either one. If I've got a positive times by a positive number, then my answer is going to be positive. If I've got a negative number times by a negative number, my answer is also going to be positive. So we can use the rule AS here to help us remember that, and that stands for add same signs. So these are the same signs, so my answer will be positive, add. These are the same signs, so my answer would be positive. If my signs are different, for example, if I'm timesing a positive number by a negative number, then we use the rule SID, subtract if different. So my answer would be negative. If we have a negative number times by a positive number, same rule applies, my answer would be negative. So here I've got a negative number times by a positive 2. I know it's positive because there's not a negative sign in front of it. So I've got a negative times by a positive. So my answer is going to be negative. So now I just say 2 times 2 is 4, and the x is there, look, so we don't forget the x. Then I look at the next term. So this sum is telling me to do -2 times, and that's a positive 6, isn't it? So -2 times 6. We've got the same rule here again, a minus times by a positive number. So my answer is going to be negative. See how I'm writing these in a nice straight line? I did these two here, those two there, then I looked at these 2 times together, and now I'm looking at these 2 times together. So minus, we looked at my answer would be a minus, and then I say 2 times 6 is 12. There's no letters there. So now I've worked that out. I have to collect the terms. So I've got 12x take away 4x. I can only collect the things that are similar. So I've got letters and numbers. So I do the letters first, because the 12x was here first. So 12 take away 4 would be 8. So 12x take away 4x is going to be 8x. I then look at the numbers. So I've got plus 20, or 20. 20 take away 12 gives me 8. And that's a positive 8. So I need to write plus 8. So the examiner will give you 1 mark if you have this line of work in, 12x plus 20 take away 4x minus 12. And then the final mark then will come from your final answer of 8x plus 8.